Okay, so all right, I think this session is being live streamed. Awesome. Okay, so I think we can begin now. So this is Bincom Dev Center, and Bincom Dev Center is a multi-location technology, talent development, and solutions platform. So these are the three things that you can find in Bincom Dev Center. We help build tech talent, we help enhance tech talent, and we also help build your startup. So some services that you can find in these different categories includes Bincom Academy. Um, if you're looking to grow your tech skills, or you're still trying to find where to get started in tech, Bincom Academy is the perfect opportunity for you. We also have Bincom Tech Internship, we have Bincom Tech Apprenticeship, we have Bincom Global Tech Program, and this is aimed towards building tech talent. We also have enhancing tech talent, which the services that we have there includes Bincom Tech Network. And one of the things that is done within the Bincom Tech Network ecosystem is community events, which is what you're attending. One of it, which you're attending at the moment, and it's a meetup. We also have other events like master classes, ICT career talk, etc. Then we also have hackathons too. These are still part of the activities that go on in the Bincom Tech network. We have the Light Space. So if you're looking for co-working spaces, Light Space, Bincom Light Space is for you. I'll be sharing links to our locations in our on this chat, so you can watch out for the chats in case you see any link that is of your interest and you want to indicate interest. So please do well to sign up or register. We have Bincom mentoring platform. If you need a mentor, or you're a mentor and you need mentees, this is the best platform for you. And then we have our Bincom Tech career coaching. For startups, we have Labs by Bincom. So if you want to have an idea and you want to build a startup, or you want to grow your little idea into a big Fortune 500 company, Bincom Labs by Bincom is the best place that you should get started with. So let's understand these different um services in more details. Bincom Academy utilizes the Montessori approach in training participants in basic skills needed for the modern technology ecosystem. Then we have Bincom Tech Internship. It is designed to enable people at intermediate skill level gain mastery and expertise over a period of time. Bincom Tech Apprenticeship is an industrial attachment at various skill level to gain experience and on-the-job training. Then we have Bincom Tech Network, which includes Bincom community events and projects, which is geared at giving back to the community and building the tech ecosystem. We focus on informing and exposing the youth to current technology trends and how they can prepare for the future in technology. We have our Light Space, which provides helpful workspaces intended to encourage collaboration and drive innovation in the startup ecosystem. We have spaces that is created and designed for various events like seminars, conferences, and get together. Then we have a global tech program, which is your solution to launching your tech career globally. It is a 1 to 2 year program that is focused on three key pillars, which is learn skill, gain experience, and gain exposure. And we have our Emigrate Tech Visa, which helps you become a globally attractive person. So we help provide give you tech profile or a tech enabled business, and Emigrate Tech Visa is also your tech enabled pathway to relocation and settlement in countries like UK, USA, Canada, France, and many more. If you are looking to mentor mentees, or you're a mentee and you need mentor, I mentioned earlier, Bincom mentoring platform is the right place for you. It is a structured mentoring solution to help Mentors add values to mentees for the purpose of building globally attractive techies. Labs by Bincom is a 3 to 6 month pre-incubator program that brings together participants to build a digital technology product which would be used by real life users. And then we have our Bincom Tech career coaching, which helps individuals to learn their next role faster by offering a combination of coaching, relevant on-the-job experience, career referencing, introduction to tech recruiters, hands-holding through application, interview processes, and much more. So if you're interested in any of these service, please do well to watch out for the links that will be shared in the chats here on this call. So at this point, I'll be handing over to the host of this event, Sophia. Please, the floor is yours.
Hello, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, Sophia, we can hear you clearly.
All right. All right. Thank you for that. So yeah, so today is our event, graphics designer event. So sorry, my this place is noisy somehow. So I'll be introducing the speakers, but the first thing is our topic for today is researching your design. So you'll be thinking of what is the meaning of that, or how do we make our research to find our ideas and everything. So with this brief, our speaker will be taking us through it, and then please help us to welcome our first speaker. His name is Peter Seymour, a brand visual strategist, a freelance graphic designer with 4 years of experience creating a top-notch design for different brands. So welcome, Mr. Peter.
Thank you very much. Hope everybody can hear me. Good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah,
Good
good
afternoon,
afternoon.
sir.
It's I sincerely appreciate the opportunity for this to be able to share the few ideas I have gotten over the years. Thank you very much. Miss, can I use Miss or Mrs. Miss Lawa, right?
Sophia is okay. Sophia
Okay,
is
so
okay.
okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Sophia, and I really appreciate. So, not to waste much of our time, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Simon Peter. I think she was unable to pronounce my name properly. My name is Simon Peter. I am a brand and visual strategist. Over the 4 years as a designer, I've been able to evolve into the space, or let me say, into the niche of brand and visual strategy. So today I'll be talking on the topic researching your design. Can everybody hear me? Hope
Yes,
I'm
I
not
can
too,
hear
hope I'm not too fast.
you. No, I don't think so.
Okay. So I'll be talking on the topic researching your design. But before we talk about researching our design, what exactly is design research? Hope you guys are here with your pen and notepad, or is this actually screen record, or so are they recording this part? Because every information I will be saying today, it is very important to take note of them, because at one point in our at one point we will be needing them. Hope we came with our pen and notepad, or is it only just me that came with my pen and notepad? Please, I want an interactive class. I'm not used to this complete silence. Like, I want to be able to observe that people are actually flowing with me. Please, is anybody with your notes and paper? Okay. So okay. So um let's now go straight to the to what design research actually means. So in a layman language, in my own understanding, design research is the systematic gathering and analysis of data to elevate your design solution. As simple as that. Not too much grammar. It's just it's just a way at which you gather information. The most important thing of this research is to gather informations so as whatever solution you are offering, it will be worth it. So design research is the systematic gathering and analysis of data to elevate your design solution. Now, as a designer or as a creative, why is it so important you must conduct a research before even starting a project? While I was growing up as a designer, my coach always tell me that he always remind me, say, Peter, have you done research before? Because anytime I send him any of my design, like, sir, I created the design, you check it out. If the design is bad, he will just tell me straight, Peter, did you do any research before you started this design? I'll be like, yes, I did though. I did research. It was like, your research wasn't enough. So that shows how important research is as a creative or as a designer. So it's a phase or it's a level you cannot skip. You can't just do without it. Like, it is very important. I used to tell some of my mentees, I'll tell them, see, inspiration doesn't come from anywhere. You need to go and look for it. You need to find that inspiration. You need to go in search of it. So before, even me till today, before I even want to go to my laptop, open my PC, open my software and start working on the project, I need to first source for inspiration. That is how important it is to make a research as a designer. So I'll be giving you some basic benefits of why you need to research your design. I mean, number one, to create strong visual communications, as I've said before, if you don't do proper research, before we even talk about proper research, what exactly is even graphic design? What exactly is graphic design? That's the first question. Graphic design, the main purpose of graphic design is to communicate. So as a designer, you need to even put it at the back of your mind that, okay, I want to design. What is my primary aim? Aside from all the whole aesthetics in design, the beauty, the rest and the rest, the most important thing is you should know that your design is to communicate. So once you fail to communicate with your design, then automatically that design has failed. Yes, I am saying it with my full chest. You can quote me anywhere. If your design doesn't communicate, no matter how beautiful it is, use the best image, use everything that you can use. If it doesn't communicate, then it has automatically failed, because the main purpose of graphic design is to communicate ideas. It's just to pass out information. So once you are not doing that as a designer, or once your design is not creating that solution, then something is wrong. There was a day I came across something on the internet. Somebody created a design for a church, and then he used an X-rated star as the main image of the musical flyer. It was for a church. How on earth will you have used such kind of person to create a flyer? I don't know if anybody is even getting what I'm saying. So that shows how important you must make your research, because you can't just use any images and say, okay, because this person is holding a mic, then, and since it's a musical concert, then I can use this image to portray what I want to say. You need to properly understand, okay, this particular image, what is this person representing? What is the implication of this image? There are some images that have copyrights. If you go and use an image that has copyright for a brand, and then they start suing the brand and stuff like that, everything is still going to fall back on you as a designer. So it shows how important you must make proper research before you before you go into any design, because basically research will allow you to understand your audience, your project goal, and the message you want to convey. It's so much important. You must make research, and the benefit of making research before you undergo any design cannot be overemphasized. I must tell you, you cannot kick that away. You can't just kick that away. So as a designer, it is very, very important to make research. Very, very, very important. And then making research varies. Now, we all know that in the industry of graphic design, we have different niches. Hope we are flowing. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, correct, sir.
You're right, sir.
Exactly. So we have different niches. We have the UI UX, we have the illustration, we have the branding, we have the packaging, we have the advertising, we have the marketing. So different niches and their approaches of how to on how to go about this research. Because some method of research might not be important for other niches. For instance, now I was working on a project, and it was important it was important I had to go to the market and carry out a feasibility study. I needed to have a one-on-one conversations with people and know what they understand about a particular project I was actually working on. So different method of research, there are different methods of research. So it is important for you as a creative that whatever project you want to handle, you should know the kind of method of research that is going to be effective and efficient, because you cannot just do all the whole method of research just for the sake of research. Now, probably the project you want to handle now, you don't necessarily need to go into the field and start carrying out some feasibility study and asking people, okay, what do you know about this? Okay, tell me what you know about this. Do you like this? Oh, you don't like this. Okay, if I give you this, if I give you that, which one are you going to prefer? Some project, you might be embarking on some project and you necessarily don't need those method. But nevertheless, I'll before I push down to the method of to some basic method of research, I'll quickly give you a breakdown of some kind of research you can do, or methods of research. Okay, let me use that word. Some methods of research that you can do. Number one, target audience research. This target audience research is actually comprises of a lot. Target audience research comprises of a lot. For instance, now let me say, as a brand strategist, a client walk up to me and say, "Oh, Simon, I want you to, we need a brand identity for our product. Okay, it's a hair cream product. It's an hair cream product. So we need a brand identity for that. So if before I embark on the brand identity part, that is basically the design part, there is a phase I need to carry in my area of research. As a brand strategist, I need to understand the target audience. I need to ask, okay, hello client, what's the range of what is the age range of your target audience? Age what to what? So that I can know the kind of illustrations to use while designing. If it's probably your target, let's use for instance the hair cream brand, their target audience is from a day-old child to probably let's say 5 years old. Yes, let's just say 5 years old. So you know that the kind of illustrations I will use in my identity it will be completely different from the one I will use for a day-old child to a 5 years old child. So you see why it is important to make research. So if I don't understand that, okay, your target audience, their age is from so age to so age, I will just bomb into my software and start designing with no direction, and then what I am supposed to communicate, I have automatically failed. Then I will just do something that is completely wrong, and the purpose of design wasn't served. So it is very important you know the target audience, and this target audience, you need to understand, know their age, know their income, their location, their value, their interest, and their lifestyle. This put together will help you craft that great storytelling about that brand. Because if this is not completely understood, if you don't do deep research on this aspect, you will not completely understand that, okay, images that I'm supposed to be using in this design should be a crawling child or a smiling baby. Probably, if I did not do the research, I might just end up going to take an adult picture and placing it in my illustrations and stuff like that, and the like. So it shows that it is very important you carry out this aspect of research, knowing your target audience. And then number two, project requirements. Like project requirements, this actually I'm trying to talk about what are the things we need to carry out this project. What are the things we need to carry out this project? For instance, when I talk about the project required, if let's still use this air cream brand as an example now. Now we already find out our target audience. That's okay. We are targeting a day-old baby to 5 years old. Then the next thing is, what are the things we need to carry out this project? What other informations do we need to carry out this project? Some of these informations are knowing your client's objectives, because only your own ideas or only your own findings is not enough in this research. So you need to know your client objectives and understand where they are coming from, so that you can be able to craft out a great brand guidelines and the stuff. And then number three is the competitive analysis. I don't know if somebody is getting me, or I'm just jam packing everything, because I don't like the idea that I'm the only one talking and I'm feeling somehow. I don't know. It's just doing as if I'm talking to myself. Is anybody flowing with me? Is there any point you are not getting, or I should just continue? I don't know.
Fire on, sir.
Yes, sir, but the second one that you just explained, I didn't really get that one. The
Okay, yeah.
project requirements. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. And now I'm feeling that I'm talking to people. Okay, let's go back a little bit about the project requirements. Okay, I said taking an example, if you are going for that brand, we already understand our target audience, that okay, we know their age, we know their income, we know their location, we know the values, their values, I mean, their interests and their lifestyle. So now we already know the basics of where we are going to, and that is not enough to finish up. It's not enough. That is why we will now move to the project requirements. The project requirements is, I'm trying to talk about what are the things you are going to put in place, like this particular project, what are the things it requires? Are you getting me now? What are the things it requires? Then that is why I now said we are going to move in to understanding, getting to talk to your clients to understand their objectives. Objective in the sense that client objectives, let me break it down. When you ask your client that, okay, clients, what are the client's objectives? The objectives is, okay, you as a brand owner, what are your plans? What are your missions? What are your visions? Are you getting me now? So those are the requirements. What are your plans? What are your visions? What are your mission? What are your targets? Because you already know your own part, that okay, this air cream brand, this is their target audience. Now you need to understand the client objectives, because you are not the owner of the brand. So you are not the one that is going to form mission and vision or goals. Are you getting me now? So the client objectives are basically you understanding the angle the client is coming from. Because sometimes there was a time I created a particular logo, and the whole idea of the logo just came from the, the vision of the brand came from. So I didn't so much to even get idea for the logo. Only from the mission, I understood, okay, this can be very good in communicating the logo. And it is so much important you have a conversation with your clients to understand their objectives and how do you do all these things, probably through client meetings and probably through project brief. I don't know if you understand it. Can I move to the next?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Is well explained, right?
Yes, sir.
I just pray I did justice to that. So
Yes, you
then the
did.
third one is a competitive. Okay, thank you very much. So the third one is a competitive analysis. I said the first one is target audience research. The second one is project requirements and goals, and then the third one is competitive analysis. As the name implies, you don't need too much explanation for that. Competitive, competition, competitors. So the competitive analysis is just the basic of, okay, this hair cream brand that I want to work for, who are their competitors? Who are they competing against? Are they the only existing brand? Is this a monopoly brand? What I mean by a monopoly brand is this a one only existing brand? Like there is no any other existing baby hair cream. I mean, there's no any other existing baby hair cream. Is it just only this brand that does or produce this product and services? So it is important you carry out a competitive analysis. For instance, okay, let's use a popular brand, like let's say a soft drink brand. We have a lot of brands that produce soft drinks, right? We have the Pepsi, the Coca-Cola, the Biggie Cola, and the likes. So even we have those soft drinks. So now, if I want to start a brand now that is going to be producing soft drinks, so I now walk up to you as a designer and say, oh, hello designer, this is the name of my brand, Simon Cola. Okay, Simon Cola will be producing soft drinks. So, okay, now you as a designer, you need to understand and know the competitor of this particular brand you want to work towards. You might be asking yourself, why do I need to even make research about these competitors? Like, why is it compulsory? After all, I'm not working for these competitors. I'm working for this particular brand. So is there a need to even go and start making research about this brand? Yes, there is a big need. The big need is, they say before revelation, there's genesis. What that means is before the existence of that product, there's already an existence of another product. And that product can be like, which word can I use? Oh, like a path, yes, a path towards where you are going to. It can be a leading guide and guide to where you are heading to. So now, if you analyze your competitor, if you decide to make research on this competitor and say, okay, what kind of colors is this existing competitor using? How do they communicate their visuals? How do they tell their story? How do their logo look like? And stuff like that. There was one time I was making a particular research on types of logo. Then at 2 years ago, when I was checking, I think I I saw a research of seven types of logo. But recently, I'm now seeing 9 types of logo. That's been aside. You will now notice that if you now read deep on these types of logo, you will now find out that there are some certain brands that use some certain kinds of types of logo. Like let's say for instance now, if you notice schools, like educational sector, they make use of emblem logo a lot. Just pick 20 schools logo and then you will notice how their logo looks like. Most of these schools logos are always looking like an emblem logo, a logo that is like a form of like a badge. I don't know if somebody is getting what I'm trying to say. So it shows that it is important you analyze your competitor. Okay, what kind of logo are my competitor using? Okay, if you take this soft drink as an example now, look at Coca-Cola, their logo. Look at Pepsi. Just observe those soft drinks logo. You will understand that, you will find out that there's a lot of similarities in their logo. I don't know if somebody is flowing with me. So it shows so much importance that it is very important you carry out competitive analysis, because this is going to help you know the strength of your competitor, know their weakness, you'll be able to identify trends. Because if you don't carry out this competitive analysis, it's even going to be very difficult to know how to tell this particular brand their own story, their own unique selling points. Like, because when you observe other competitors, okay, what can we even do better than our competitors that will make us stand out? What is our unique selling point? What are we going to use as our USP? What is our unique selling point? Because if you don't carry out this analysis, you can't even identify your unique selling point. You can't even say, okay, this is what I want to use to trap my target audience. For instance, now let's take iPhone as an example. Everybody know that iPhone selling point is luxury. If you want the world to know that yes, you have money in your account, luxury, you want to use iPhone. That is the emotional. If you ask people randomly now and tell them that why do you want to use an iPhone, they will give you the logic reasons. They will tell you, I want to use an iPhone because it has good camera, because it do this, because it do that. Those are the logic reasons. Fine, the logic reasons are there. But deep down, there's a lot of emotional backing in this aspect, and that is where iPhone selling point is. That is where their selling point is. So you as a designer, you need to understand all these things to be able to craft out a very good identity for your clients, to be able to craft out a very good design, be it flyer, be it logo, be it motion, be it illustration, be it infographics, whatever. It is so much important you understand all these angles, because putting all these things together is what is going to help you communicate better, because design is nothing without communication. You can't communicate without design. So in a nutshell, it shows that it is so much important we make research. Even aside even understanding this listed, there's the most common research ways trying to find inspiration. That's our common method. Most of us use that's the most common method. Sorry, I almost skipped that part. Thank God I said it. You see, this design inspiration is the most common way of making research. If you walk up to a designer and tell him, Oga, go and make research, the only thing most of us will do is to go and look for inspiration. Okay, let me check similar designs that have been made. But only few of us go deep in trying to understand the target audience, trying to understand the competitive analysis, the competitor, I mean, trying to go deep to understand what the project requires, the goals and the likes. Only few of us do that. The common one is design inspirations. We just bust in Binance, bust in Pinterest, bust in any design blog, go into Instagram, go into YouTube, get that perfect design or whatever it is that we are working on, and then boom, we are onto our system. We have opened our Photoshop, we have opened our Illustrator, we have opened our InDesign, we have opened our CorelDRAW, and we want to do the whole magic. But way more than that, far more than that, there are other things we can do that can help our design, help our outcome. There are other ways of making research that can help on outcome. And thank God, AI has made everything easy. Because sometimes you might even just go to Google and say, okay, that's the basic way of making research. Okay, instead of going to do all this online, instead of going to go and do all this physical survey, getting feedbacks, doing some focus group, like gathering people together, asking them questions. Most of us, the common one is to just go into Google and start making our findings, asking our questions, and getting our feedbacks. So now, luckily for us, we have AI. AI has made it so easy to even do all this research. All you need to do is ask the right question, and then put in the right prompt, and then you are good to go. So I don't know if I've been able to do justice on this topic, but I think I'll be rounding up by saying that it is so much important we carry out design research, because without we carrying out design research, it is just more like we want to go and play on our software. Like we can't just overemphasize on that. Very, very important as a creative. Like if you don't even carry out research, what exactly do you even want to go and do? That's the first question, because you can't just go to your system and just go there blank and say, okay, you want to start designing. Some of the negative effect of not even carrying out research is creative block is one of the negative effects. Yes, creative block can be caused by different things. Hunger can cause creative block, environment can cause creative block, every other thing can unstable mind can cause creative block. But not making research is also part of what can cause a creative block. So it shows that it is very important you carry out research. Very, very, very important as a creative that you carry out this research. So I'll be calling on Sophia to take over from here. And if there's any other question you want to ask, you can actually let me know.
Okay, thank you for that wonderful presentation. And I really gained a lot. And I also know that we also learn one or two things from what you just said about making research, knowing our target audience, doing competitive analysis, and also knowing our project requirements, what we need for our designs and the likes. Thank you very much for that insightful knowledge you've passed to us. Yeah. So please, while our second speaker is doing the justice also, please let's gather our questions that we have for our speakers down. We can put it in our chat box, or we can use the mic also. But after the second speaker, we'll be taking questions. So now I'll be introducing the second speaker. His name is Ebitomi Majid, a UIS designer from Bincom Dev Center, also a graphic designer. Yeah. So yeah, welcome to our event Meetup today. So you can take the floor, Majid.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, I don't know if it is my net. I can hear some echo sounds. Am I good? All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Peter, for that wonderful presentation. Like one of my guys would say, yeah, he has said it all when they ask you a question. So Peter has said it all. I don't even know what's left for me to say again. But basically, I'm just going to share my screen just to share some few thoughts, touch some other things. All right, so please give me a minute. I'm sharing my screen. Well, before I start, I want to welcome every one of you, from the host, coordinator, my friends. I can see you, Fatia, Esther. You're all welcome. Thank you for showing up. So please let me know when you can see my screen. Okay, forgive me for those I did not mention. I welcome all of you in the name of God. Thank you for showing up. All right, let me know when you can share my screen. When you can see my screen, please.
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, so we are discussing researching your design, and in this case now I'll be talking about an insight to user research in a design. Because truth be told, for every of our design, whether it's a social media post, it's a flyer, or it's a banner, whatever it is, there's somebody at the end of the chat that is receiving those designs, and that is the users. And there's something we always call user centered. Though we'll be talking about that. I'm just trying to give a background of what we will be sharing in this session. So it's called an insight to user research in design. So it's not just about designing. Who are you designing for? Why are you researching for these people? That is what is important about this session. And like I mentioned, or like she introduced me, my name is Adekunle, and I'm also, she didn't call me Adekunle, she called me Mojid. Okay, I'm also Mojid too, but yeah, I like to call myself Adekunle, epitome, and I'm also a UI UX designer. Okay, so for the purpose of this discussion, we'll be talking about some few points which I highlighted here. So one of them is why is research why is research important, or why is research in design necessary? Then we'll also be looking at user-centered design. Then we'll be talking about research method, persona development, or data-driven design decisions. Then we'll also be looking at iteration in design. So we'll be looking at this one after the other. Please confirm if you guys can hear me.
Yes.
Clearly, sir.
All right, thank you so much. All right, so the first one we said, why is research in design necessary? Just like our speaker has said, research is one of the basic of every design. Like you said, you don't design anything if you don't even know what you are designing for. And one of the ways you know what you are designing for is by research. Just like you are going to school and you are not going with your books. What do you want to go and do there? So research is very, very important in our design because that gives you an idea of what you want to design for. Who are you designing for? They appreciate what you're trying to put forward. That is why research is very, very important. And I'll be looking at, though there are lots of points where we can discuss, but for the sake of our time and the framework of the topic, we'll just be looking at 3 points, which I highlighted here. So one of them is user understanding. Just we guys should not forget the point I'm driving at. I said an insight to user research in a design. So I said one of the reasons why research is very, very important in design is user understanding. It gives you an idea to understand, in this case, your target audience. What do they want? How do you know what they want? That's what we call user understanding. Research is very important so you can understand your user. We say research helps designers to gain deep insight into the user's needs, behaviors, preferences, enabling them to create solutions and that to create solutions that are intuitive and user friendly. Yeah, each time we have a discussion on design, I don't like to streamline it to just maybe graphic design or social media. But I like to just see if I can bring them all together. So for every of our design, you need to understand what your target audience wants. What do they want? How do they want to use that product? How do they want to use that service you are rendering? Whether it's your client, or how do you understand your client? That's one of the reasons why you make a research. You engage this client, engage your users, talk to them. What do they want? That's what we call user understanding. You are making the research to understand your user. It's not just about designing. So you want to get their point of view about what they are facing because as a designer, just like we established, you are trying to solve a problem. It could be a business problem, it could be whatever type of problem it is, you are trying to solve a problem. That's the idea about being a designer. Then the next point is problem solving. We said research uncovers pain points and challenges that the user face. So before someone comes to you that I need something, whether I need a logo or I need a social media banner for my Instagram page, or I need a website, that person is facing some particular problem. So what you need to understand that problem by reaching out to that person. That's another reason of making a research. You are trying to understand that the pain of that person, the pain of that client, the pain of that social media. So then you can understand, you can know how to solve that problem. So you don't just solve a problem you don't understand. You need to understand that problem first, then find a way to solve it. So we talked about it. I think one of our classes we said um, design processes. So you need to understand why you are solving that problem. How when you even solve that problem, how do you know you have solved that problem? That is the idea of engaging your users or your target audience to solve that problem, and that comes through research. We also talk about validation and improvement. So through research, designers can validate their design decisions, test prototype with users, and gather feedback to iteratively improve the design. So it's not just about just solving that problem. Is the problem solved really? How sure are you that the problem has been really solved? Did you have any other issues apart from the one you have solved? And that's what we call iteration. Then you go back to your some of your design phases. Then you know how to solve that problem. It's called validation and improvement. Just like I used to mention, you notice any update is because there's another problem that occurred because of the previous solution. You get that's what we call updates. If you some of us notice on our mobile apps, you see updates from time to time. Updates from time to time. That's what we mean by that. Then we'll also be discussing user-centered design from the word user-centered design. And as I've established that for every of our design, we are not designing for robots. We are designing for people that we are real people that will actually appreciate the design. I have not seen any design that is appreciated by robots. And robots don't have feelings anyways. So the user should be the one to appreciate our design. So that means all of our designs should be user-centered, not designer-centered. It is called user-centered. So that people can appreciate and understand the design. Are you guys still with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. So when we said user-centered design, and we said user-centered design focuses on designing products, services around the needs, behaviors, and preferences of the users, ensuring a more intuitive and satisfying user experience. It doesn't get better than this. If you design a product that the user cannot use or cannot relate to, it's as if you've done something, you just wasted your own time, your client's time, and your resources. So everything has to be for the users because they are the one that will use that product. They are the one that will use that service. That is why research is very, very important. You need to understand that every design, every service you render as a designer, it should be user-centered because they are to be the art of all your design. Okay, next thing we'll be discussing is the research method, and I thank God our first speaker has spoken extensively on this. I'm just going to be adding some few points. The research methods differs depending on the type of design you are working with. You don't expect a logo designer to have the same method a UI UX designer or a social media banner or a motion designer. So depending on your field of design, that is how your type of research will come. But basically, I just have three common methods in which designers can make their research. So I have user interviews. So this is talking about you engaging your users one-on-one, trying to talk to them. Okay, what is this? What do you want about your problem? What do you want about your problem? How do you want it to be solved? What is the exact problem? So trying to understand them. This is physical. These days now we have virtual interview. The idea is just to understand what the user wants or what the clients want. It's a research method. And for some of us that did our project in school, you see something they call questionnaire. It's the same thing. You are understanding, you are also trying to get the idea of the user, trying to understand their problem by interviewing them. It's called one-on-one interview. It can also be virtual interview too. Okay, so let's go on. So we also have surveys and questionnaire. We have seen some people handing out in school. Then they just come, please, I beg, let me answer this question. Let me answer this questionnaire. It's normal. We actually then I don't used to know what they are doing. I just like, let me help this guy. The guy has like maybe 100 questionnaires in his hand. But boy, you got to be that impossible. Let me help you. I just collect them. Usually I don't even read those questionnaires. I just want to feel and help that guy and so that you just move on. Do you get? But now I understand that for every, I don't know what they are doing then. I don't have the full understanding, but now I understand there is important, it is very, very important for we to conduct research. And one of the method of conducting a research is surveys and questionnaires. Is helping you to gather information, though these survey and questionnaires are tailored to address that problem that you are trying to solve. Do you get? So in order to get that thing, you need to push out questionnaires. Though there are online questionnaires now, there's Google form on how to. It's just the way. Thank God, everything now is so much easy with the online platform. So you can just draft a questionnaire online and send it to your friends. They can fill it. And it goes back to your Google Sheet, and you get your data. That way, it's now easy for people to get data from questionnaires than before. Do you understand? So surveys and questionnaires is another important method of making research. Finally that I have here, contextual inquiry. Just like our speaker is saying, there are sometimes you need to, based on the context of your design, you need to go out. Say for me now, I want to design a market app for old women now. Old women probably who doesn't go to school. How do I go to them and send them a research, an online questionnaire? They probably won't understand, and this guy is wasting my time. I need to sell my market. That is where contextual environment, you need to go to the market and understand, okay, sit down with these women, okay, man, this is what I want you to do, this is what I want you to do. That way, they probably don't understand what you are doing, but you are trying to gather data on how to solve their problem. Remember, I mentioned that we are trying to create a market app. Is a problem, and we are trying to create a solution, maybe to help the marketers more, to help them get more profit or more customers. That is a problem. But the research method we are using here, it is contextual. In their context of market, a marketer probably doesn't even know what a Google form is. Do you understand? So in order to come down to that level of that person, you need to go to the market, or you want to. Well, I'm so sorry to say, I'm not actually shaming these women. It's just their level of understanding. Or you go to a mechanic workshop and you are trying to solve a problem for a mechanic now who probably doesn't go to school. How do you send a Google form? How do you interview that kind of person? You need to sit down with that person and understand, okay, sir, oh, sorry for those of us that doesn't understand Yoruba. We are just trying to understand, okay, for every research method, there is contextual inquiry. Not in all cases, but in some cases, you need to just go there, find a way to understand, find a way to pass your message, find a way to get response. The whole idea is to get response from these people or get data from them that will help you, or that will help you in solving a problem you want to solve. Yeah. Okay. So on this one, that everybody is silent. I'll just take the silence and everybody is following. Am I correct?
We are following you, sir. We did with you, Maga.
Thank you so much. All right, so we have personal development. So if you guys have noticed, there's a way I arrange these things. It is starting from the research, and the result of the research is called a personal development. In UI, there's something they call personal development. It's just something that, based on the research I've gotten so far from, let's say, from 100 people now, I can now draft a persona. What I mean by persona is the details. It's not as if that our persona is related to one person. Averagely, okay, I can just say between 5 to 10 people, they have this profile. If you get, based on the research you have gathered so far, then you can create a persona. That persona is going to be the one that will help you to know how to solve your problem. It's not just from getting data from the market or getting data from people, you just go straight to the design. No, you need to get a persona first. Persona is just a description of what you've gotten so far, and you're able to bring it down, summarize it. Okay, this is where I'm facing, this is what the people are facing, this is where my target audience are facing. Then how can I solve their problem? That's what we call persona development. And I have it here that a user persona is a fictional representation of a target user based on research and data, including demographic information, blah, blah, blah. The idea is just to summarize the result of the information you've gotten from the audience and find a way to represent it in something called persona. So forget the English. I wish I had the, well, I already shared an example of what a persona looks like, but this is not like a comprehensive persona. But it's just to give you an understanding that A persona is a summary of your data gotten from your users before you. That is the result of what you use for your design. Do you get? So it's not just about coming straight from the reports, from the data, then start designing instantly. It doesn't work like that. There needs to be something called persona. Then going forward, we also have data-driven decisions. When we say data-driven decisions, so once you have your persona, you have an idea of what the users are facing. Automatically, you, based on your design processes, you have a solution in mind with your data. How do you solve this problem? That is data-driven design decision. So you don't just design; you are designing based on data-driven, based on the data you have gotten. So from, let's say, for example, now you are designing a website now from um, your questionnaire or whatever research method you use now. You've gotten that most users want their call to action button to be, let's say their primary CTA button to be on the right and to be on the left. So it's not just from your head. You are designing. You are making those decisions based on data you have gotten. Do you understand? You are making those decisions based on the report you are getting from your user. Okay, they will prefer to have their button on the bottom, or they will prefer to have their button on the left, or they will prefer to have their CTA, their social media address on the right. It is the result that you've gotten from your questionnaire or from your research method that will help your design. That way, you can even reduce your stress of change this one to this one, change this one to that one. And for most of us that are here now, we can understand the stress of having to modify design than creating a new one. Do you get it? It's a lot stressful trying to correct the design than to create a new one. Personally, for me, I would prefer to create a new design than to have me correct this, correct that, correct this, correct that. At the point you get tired of. That's why research is very, very important. So you get data. So you probably have like 90% of your choices before you even start designing. So when the entire design is up, all you just need to do is just some little changes based on testing and the likes like that. Yeah, okay, I've explained this. We said it refers to using quantitative and qualitative data to inform and validate your design choices. So as I've said, it's not just about what you are, what you want to do. It is based on what you've gotten from your audience, from your users, or from your client by engaging them, by talking to them, by understanding what they want. That will give you an idea of what you should do in your design. Don't mind my all this English is just paparazzi. It's just design based on what you have. Do you get? Iteration in design, and this is like the hardest part. Well, I won't say the hardest part. If you've done your research well, this is just like a simple thing. Just like WhatsApp now. I mentioned something like WhatsApp that they come up with updates from time to time. This is based on feedback they got from users or feedback they got from people testing their app. Okay, they want to make it like this. All you just need to do is once let's say a mobile app comes out now, is launched now, and the users have been using it over a period of time. Okay, and they notice they need to put this thing based on the complaint of the user. All they just need to do is just go back to the designer. They don't have to necessarily create a new design because there is the feedback is not just going to be the entire design is bad. No, it's just going to be some few changes that they need to make. If you look at WhatsApp now, it's not something that they just need to recreate. It's just some few modifications and to make it nice. And one of the things I really like about WhatsApp update, I mentioned it, I don't know when I mentioned that, is the new AI that was introduced to WhatsApp. It's very, very easy. That thing was caused by iteration of design. So they see most people interacting with AI on their platform. So, and they decide to introduce it to their own platform. So that's what we mean by iteration in design. There's a feedback, there's a complaint, you go back to your drawing board, you go back to your research, or you go back to your design phase, or whatever phase you need to go to fix that problem or to fix that complaint is called iteration in design. It's like a cyclic process. It's not as if once you are done with the design, that means the design is entirely done. You need to wait for what we call feedback. And to say this, not all feedbacks are bad. Feedbacks are just to make a design and a designer better. Because as a designer, you design something not for yourself. People are going to use this. How will they react to it? How can they understand what they're, if I use a global app now, or if I check on the social media post and I don't like how that social media account is, I make a complaint and I talk to the organization or that brand now reaches out to their designer. Okay, let's do it this way, let's do it that way. That is what I mean by iteration in design. It's not as if you are creating the whole thing entirely. You are just trying to make a research on how to make it better, how to make it better and better. And that's how design goes. Okay, I've explained this too. So iteration is like defines the process of refining and improving on a design through multiple cycles of testing, feedback, and motivation. Are you guys still with me?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
All right, thank you. So finally, I made a quote here. Forgive me for those of us that are not Christian and Christian. So I said something that is called "What is man that you are mindful of him, and the Son of Man that you visit him." Not to bore you with a lot of biblical stories, but the idea here is just that for every of our design, there's somebody at the end of it. What I'm saying here is even God recognizes the presence of users, in quotes, man. God recognizes the presence of man. So to the extent that for every of our design, even if God can recognize man, if God, why are you just a designer, somebody that God created from just dust, that you cannot put man first, in this case, user. So the idea is to that for every of our design, whether it's a social media banner, it's a social or it's a website, it's a mobile application, the idea is to be to design for the users. For the user, it has to be for the user. And that's one of the reasons I had to put this Bible verse. Everything revolves around man. Everything revolves around man. It's not just to create a design. The design looks beautiful to you. You are not the one using it. God does not need man. Do you understand? It's not as if God needs man to do anything, but God still prioritize man. So how much more we designers that we cannot prioritize men? We cannot prioritize our users. Some designers might want to look at, I want this design to be aesthetically pleasing and put a lot of colors, put a lot of layout. If it doesn't appreciate, if it doesn't solve the problem of that user, it's as useless as anything. Do you understand? So thank you everyone for showing, and feel free to have any questions or contributions, anything. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sophia.
All right. Thank you for that presentation also. I also get one or two things from your presentation. So one thing is from what the first speaker also said is making research method, and you also talk about understanding our user. They also talk about how can we solve problems for our users, problem solving. So I know that we also learn one or two from what you just said now, and then this is the time for us to ask question. This is question time. So if you have any question that you want to ask our speakers, you can use the hand icon so that I will you can speak, or you can drop it in the chat box. Yeah, questions. Okay, I have question to ask. I have is, so this is later. So in your experience now, like in your experience, what are some common misconceptions about design research, and how can we designer avoid falling into that trap?
Please, can you take that question again so I can
I said
properly
in your own
digest it?
experience, I used
Okay.
like 4 years. So what are some common misconceptions about design research, and how can the designer avoid falling into this trap? It's correct.
Okay. Okay. I think I understand. I understand it better now. Um. Most especially young designers, they always believe that going to make research is a waste of time. That's one of the misconception. Some designers as waste of time. Another misconception is some designers see it as and like people overrate making research. That why would I? What's the essence? And again, some and let's now leave the young designers alone. Let's now proceed to the senior ones. They will be like, I already have everything in my head now. I'm good enough now. Is there any need of me? Because it's very common. For instance, now a client walk up to me and say, okay, Simon, do this flyer for me. I'm selling this, I'm selling that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So as a designer, I will be feeling, why should I go and make research on this common flyer? Oh, let me just enter my software and start doing the whole magic, imputing the whole image and texture and stuff like that. So it is something that designer must desist from. Sometimes it might later turn out to become an habit. So it's something we must not do. It's very dangerous because without your design communicating, it's not a design. It has failed. It's a complete failure. Like just this statement I say, just take it anywhere and say, oh, this young man said, if my design doesn't communicate, it has failed. Yes, forget all the aesthetics, the beauty, the paparazzi, all those icons, this, that. Forget those things. Once it's not communicating, it's nothing. That is why personally, during my own personal research, I have found out that minimalism has now become the next phase of the industry. I don't know if any of us have noticed it, that taking design to the barest minimum, like less is more, like taking it to the barest minimum, it's now the order of the day. If you want to communicate now, I carried out a particular research about what I was working on a project, and it was a podcast. It was a podcast, and then the podcast was targeted on Gen Zs. It was targeted on Gen Zs. Then I began to understand, what does Gen Z actually resonates with? Like, what do we see those in that face? What did they see and they will just fall in love with it? Then I found out that Gen Zs they so much like something very simple, simplicity. I created a particular design. It was two different designs. One was having so much activities on it, and the other one didn't have much activity, but the main information that was supposed to be said was actually said on that one. And then I try saying, okay, which will you prefer? And to my greatest surprise, I gave it out to 5 different people. 4 different persons were choosing the one that came out so plain and simple with less activities. So it is very important to carry research as designers, and don't ever make the error of saying making research is a waste of time, or why is it necessary I go and make research and stuff like that, or I already know it all, then there is no need of making research. See that making research is way even deeper than just saying you want to go and look for design inspiration. It's way deeper, because that's the most common misconception, that the only way to make research as a designer is to go and look for design inspiration. That is what most of us do. That the only way, okay, I want to go and, okay, somebody asked me to design this one now. The only thing I will go and do now is to just go and look for the inspiration. I want to make the best way of making it look beautiful. Because that is the why most of us always want to go and look for design inspiration. We're after the best design, and not we are not after what the design is communicating. We are not after what the design is communicating. I one day, sorry, I want to quickly say something. I one day stumbled on a particular design made by, I can't really remember his name. It was in it apart from I think their major this thing is boredom, like quench the boredom or something. I don't know if people are getting me. So what he did in that flyer was he understood that he didn't necessarily need to even start putting mini me chin chin, this, that, and all those images and karamo of somebody eating mini me chin chin. He didn't even need to do that. All he needed to do was understand the copy and then work towards it. What this person did was he got a biro cover. That's big. We know big now. That biro cover. He took biro cover and then he had to chew the cover. We all remember that when we were in school, secondary school, per se, especially that GS1, GS2 time. If we are bored, we used to chew our biro cover, or we are in exam hall and then we don't know what to write. We start chewing our biro cover, right? So what he did was, the story he tell was, instead of you chewing your biro cover when you are bored, why don't you chew mini min chin chin? So it shows that as a designer, you need to understand why you are designing. It is so much important that you carry out this research. This person was able to come out with that creative idea because he had carried out deep research and proper and thorough research. He should have just said, I'm a best designer. I know how to use my software. Okay, this is the copy. Bam. You enter Photoshop and carry image of a lady or a young boy or somebody eating mini chin chin and put the whole everything and bam, the design is fine. He did not do it like that, but instead he concentrated on the pain points and then he was able to communicate it effectively because he carried out proper research. So every one of us, including myself, I'm not even talking to only people on this space, I'm also talking to myself. We should always carry research. It's very, very important. Very, very. I know it can be exhausting. Sometimes I used to tell people that sometimes carrying out research takes more time than even doing the design itself. I said something on my status yesterday and somebody was laughing. I said I have been doing a research for about 3 hours plus, and at the end of it, there's nothing to show for it. That it seems I will leave this tech thing for you people and go and learn fashion design. And a lot of people, they were laughing inside my DM, but that's the truth. It comes with a lot of pain, but the result is always superb. So let us put in the effort of making research, and trust me, you will always get the results. Thank you very much. I don't want to talk, Abby. I don't know.
Thank you. Okay, so I wanted to ask you a question, but you mentioned it. I need to ask that how many hours used to take, like, before you can get a particular design ideas and everything. But I think
it,
you
it
mentioned.
can it can take it can take a lot of hours. Oh, it depending. Like, okay, I remember I attended a section like this, and then hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I remember that I attended a section like this on a Twitter space, and then the speaker said something that as a creative, as a designer, we should cultivate the habit of long thinking over overthinking. That long thinking is different from overthinking. That every creative should learn and cultivate it to become an habit of long thinking instead of overthinking. Long thinking in the sense that, you see, from the word long thinking, it shows that long thinking self can take days, and it is so different from overthinking. Long thinking in the sense doesn't mean that days that it is taking, you are actually thinking every seconds, every time. But long thinking is, you are what you want to achieve at every little seconds. You are always trying to get a result from it. I don't know how to explain this long thinking, but I don't know how to put it, but I just want you guys to understand that when you are making research, it just depends. You might probably do a research of 30 minutes and you get your results. You can probably do a research of 4 hours, you get your results. You can probably do a research of whatever hours it's going to take. Just make sure that the main point is getting a result. And if while you are doing the research, if you get to a point of break, learn to take break, because it will actually lead to creative block too when you overstress yourself. It's another thing sitting in a position for 3-4 hours. So you just need to change the environment, probably take a little walk, or go and see a friend, or gist, or do something different, or just walk to the kitchen and go and soak one better Ijebu Gari, and just try change the environment so that something can happen. So I don't know if I could explain this long thinking and overthinking, but whichever way, I will always employ designers to learn the habit of long thinking over overthinking, because I don't know how to explain it, but I just pray that somebody is even trying to understand what I mean by long thinking and overthinking. So there's no specific hours on making research. There's no specific hours. You can do as the spirit leads. You can do. Hope I answered that part.
Okay, thank you. Another thing to learn: overthinking and long thinking are different things. All right. Okay, so please, can you hear me?
Yeah, most definitely. I can hear you.
All right. Please, do you have any question? No. Hello, please, do you have any questions? Okay. Have the question for the second speaker. So yeah, my question is, how do you balance gathering data and maintaining a creative spark during the design process, the design research process? How do you balance it?
How do you balance what?
How do you balance between the gathering of data and maintaining a creative spark during design research process?
Well, in my own opinion, I feel like both of them are two different space. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. So when you make a research, so you don't do two things at a time now. So you are trying to get a research, you do that first. So based on research is what you are going to design about. So you're definitely now when you are trying to make your questions, trying to get your data, you tailor it to how you are trying to solve that person's problem. So based on that, okay, this is what I can do, this is what I want to do. Then you can now say, okay, based on report I've gotten, then I can now look for inspirations on how to solve that problem that you want to solve. So it's entirely two different things. You are getting data first. Once you get your data, that's how you know what you want to do. This is the problem they are facing. Then you can now look for ideas on how to solve that problem. So getting data one, solving that, creating the idea to solve that problem is another thing. So you do it one after the other. You get your data first, then you design to solve that problem. Does that answer your question?
Oh, okay. Mr. Peter, do you have anything to say concerning that also?
Okay, I think it's completely true. The two of them are two different space. Balancing, there is no balance there, because if they are conflicting with each other, then we will not talk about balance. But both of them are two different things. One have to be done to achieve one. It's like telling me that how do I balance going to farm with my how do I balance farm and my to be able to cultivate in my farm, isn't it? I don't know if that scenario can be able to justify it. So it shows that there is no need to strike any balance. Both are very important. So you need to finish one first. And then when you are done, because it is the one that you have finished that will be able to lead to the success of the second one. So you need to have your farm equipment, your hoe, your cutlass, so that you could be able to cultivate in your farm. So your design, everything is your farm, and then the research itself is your tool. So you need your tool to cultivate in your farm. So both of them work hand in hand on a different space. Thank you. I think that's what I can say on that.
Thank you. So this is my last question, but I don't know, maybe we have anybody that wants to ask questions, but this is my last question, and this goes to because what advice could you give to designers who are just starting with design research but feel overwhelmed by the amount of information available? Yes, so any of you can go ahead.
Mr. Adekunle, will you go first?
All right, no problem. So
Okay.
I don't know. I'm actually well, actually, the thing is, I won't say. Well, the best way for me is just to go for. If you know where you are going, then you know what you are looking for. So if you are looking for a website inspirations or you are trying to make a research on a problem, and you know if you don't know where you are going, you don't know how to get there. So one of the best things to do is to define where you are going, know what you are trying to look for, know the target audience you are trying to research about. So it might take a while, just like you said. Some research process can take 2 weeks. Some research process can take. As a matter of fact, there are some designs that you make a research for about 2 to 3 hours. At the end of the day, when you're working on design, you spend up to 10 to 15 minutes and you're done. So it takes a whole lot to research than to do the entire design. So that's the one thing we need to understand as designers, not just to young designers. Every one of us should understand that preparing for something is actually much longer than doing the entire thing. I read in a book that says a soldier trains for um, almost his lifetime, then he's tested within 5 minutes. In that test, you could die, you could live. Do you understand? So it takes a whole lot to prepare for something than to actually do that thing. So once we have that idea in mind that research is one of the primary things for every of our tasks, every of our design, so we can understand that. However, it takes some. I used to listen to Nathaniel Bassey. They say, "I will stay there until he comes." So it doesn't matter how long the research takes. So as long as I have not gotten what I'm looking for, I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to look for it. I might take a break, just like you said. I might take a 5 minutes break, 20 minutes, even a day break, depending on what I'm looking for. But as long as I'm still looking for that thing, I've not gotten it, I'm going to keep looking and keep looking. And once I get what I'm looking for, in 5 to 10 minutes, I'm done with my studies. And that's actually true for all of us. You understand that you make a lot of research, then finally you see the thing you are looking for, then you are done in 5 to 10 minutes. So research takes a while, and they say it's not a day's job. If you are serious about something, you need to be able to give it time. You need to be able to understand that this thing doesn't just come on a platter. But nobody is going to just serve you what you want. You need to go deep, look for it, look for it till you get it. And that's not just for young designers; it's for everybody. Do you understand? So that's my own take on that.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Peter, you can go ahead now.
Okay. I think I'm so grateful to God. Like, why am I calling God in this now? Why I was trying to explain what long thinking is and overthinking is, and I was not doing justice to that. Why Mr. Adekunle was actually saying something now, then I was able to even explain this properly. You see, when it comes to researching as a designer, as a young designer, as anything, what should be on your mind? My co-speaker said something. He said, define what you want. It's like, that is your focus, that's your target. Know your focus. That's the first thing. Know your focus. I was reading a book by Ben Tracy. He said, until you identify your focus, everything becomes your focus. And when everything becomes your focus, then there's a distraction. So when you want to make your research, identify your focus. And then that is what leads to long thinking instead of overthinking. When you now have a focus, then you spend more time trying to get your results. That's what long thinking is like, spending more time to get a result. But overthinking is you probably have a focus, or you already have a focus, or you don't have a focus, but your own is sharp, 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 sharp. I don't want to spend more than 3 hours in this thing. I must get it. No, 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 no. That is overthinking. There, you burn much time. Sorry, you not burning time now. Like, you now spend few minutes in getting that best or creative idea. If you had done a long thinking, that creative idea would have pulled out. As you spend more time, like, result, and then automatically you get that creative idea. But because you don't want to stay deep in it, it is just because you don't have a target. That is just itself. Because if you have a target, you know that I've not gotten what I want to. I need to keep pushing. So that is what I want young designers and we as designers ourselves to be able to identify, that researching is not an easy task. It's like, let me talk about, I used to use this thing the most. If the foundation is faulty, what shall the righteous do? So research is your foundation. If your foundation is faulty, what do you want to do? Then when everybody knows that a building, if the foundation is not good, then you are targeting destruction. The building is either going to collapse or something might probably happen. So that's how research is. It's a foundation that we cannot neglect. Like, you can't, don't boycott it. I know as much as we want to boycott it, we should train our mind not to always boycott this thing called research. It can be consuming. There's nothing it doesn't bring. It comes with so many things. As Abraham Lincoln will say, I will study and wait, and the opportunity will come. That's how research is. Research is like your study, and then your final result is the opportunity. You need to wait, like, you need to do it so that you can get a result. The research is your effort. It's your complete effort. Complete effort. So it's something that you can't kick against. There's no how. Don't even find the excuse of escaping it. I know how hard it is to be, because me myself, I've been in such shoes before. I want to escape it. I want to escape it, but I've later found out that escaping it is, I'm doing myself more harm than good. Because if you understand how the woman mind works, the woman mind likes the abnormal, likes the unexpected. That is how the woman mind works. Everybody knows that if you are walking, probably you are sitting outside your compound and people that are passing at the front of your compound are using their leg to walk. You will not be curious about it. You know that it is normal to walk with your 2 legs. But when you are sitting outside your compound and then you find out that somebody is passing in front of your compound with his or her head, using the head to walk, or probably using the hands to walk in an upside down format, you'll be curious to stand up and say, what's going on? And you're not only going to even stand up, if it's possible to start calling your family members and say, hey, come and see you. You will not even just stop there again. You will carry your phone and start videoing if you have the mind for such thing. You start videoing and say, the world must see this. That is how the woman mind works. So you need, when you understand how the woman mind works, then you will want to do or create something that will captivate the woman mind. So if you start thinking like that, you will spend more time making research to captivate the woman mind. Because when you even want to design you must know that there's a problem you are solving with that design. Probably if it's a flyer design, you know that this flyer is used for marketing, so that people will come and buy the product. So you as a designer, that flyer must convince. I don't know if the word convince is the right word to use, but that flyer that you are designing or you have designed must be able to compel. Yes, I think that's the word. Must be able to compel the target audience to buy. Like, let me use this final example to explain. I worked on a recent product label, and I had to change the current design. I had to change the previous design to the current design. So after all research and everything, I finally came out with an idea, created the design, and it was printed on the product, on the hair cream. And then, without even the brand owner has not even put it for sale. Then he called me and said, Simon, do you believe that somebody saw this label, I like saw the design, like the product, and said, this thing is fine, I want to buy, just because of the label, just how attractive the label was. And one person said, I want to buy. What more are we going to talk about if this product is being pushed out to the market? So it shows how it is important to do your research, understand, going from colors to infographics to images. Just go deep and deep as you can, just to get to your target. So don't exclude research. As a young designer, as a big designer, as anything you are, don't ever even think of escaping it. That's the advice I would give. Don't even give it a second thought. Don't just try it. So thank you very much. I think that's all I can say.
Wow, thank you. You really did a lot of, as in, thank you for that. How will I put it? Thank you for that advice. Yeah, thank you for letting us know, as a new being, as a designer, as a senior designer, that research is very, very important in our projects, in our way of life, because that's the way we design. Even though you are UI designer or brand identity designer, whatsoever you are, you have to make up, you have to do research. Yeah. So thank you for this knowledge that you passed to us, the two speakers. Thank you very much for that. Please let us connect to ourselves. Let's just drop our social handles. Anyone, maybe it's Twitter, maybe it's LinkedIn that we want to drop. Let us connect. This is this segment where we connect with each other. And also, we also have WhatsApp group where we communicate. And this community event, this meetup does not end here. So we can extend the rest of our conversation or our WhatsApp group. So I've already dropped the link to join the WhatsApp group. Please kindly join so that we can continue from there. And also you can also share this WhatsApp group to people, designers. It's general. It's not based on a particular niche. For all designers to just join and add values to ourselves. So that's why we create this WhatsApp group. Thank you so much. So please let's join drop our LinkedIn profile so that our any Twitter, any one of it that I want to drop. So let's try to connect to each other. Yeah. So I hope you heard what I just said.
Yes, 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 yes. I'm doing just that.
All right, thank you. Okay, so
I think I've been able to connect with just one person. I think that is Ogunbadejo. Esther, the link you dropped, I think is not complete. And Mr. Adekunle, I don't know, I'm finding it difficult to connect with you. The link too is not taking me there at all.
okay. He has dropped off. He's not on the call. All right. So thank you, Mr. Peter, once again for that insightful speech. Thank you. And again, sorry, Simon, Simon. So people used to mention that word. So I don't know the solution to pizza. That's why I
No,
used that. Simon,
no,
Simon. I don't know.
this one is Simon. No.
Okay.
Simeon has EON, like SIMEON. But mine, there is no E. So it is
All right.
Simon Peter.
All right. Thank you. All right. So this is the end of our meetup for today. Yeah. So this is not we do take do this meetup another time. You should do it. It's not only once in a year or so. So another month that will be taking that will be we have this meetup. Please let's try to join the WhatsApp group so that we'll be getting information from us, and also that WhatsApp group is for us to communicate as a designer. So please let's try to join the WhatsApp group so that we can learn from each other also. Um, that's all for today. I'll meet again in the group. Stay blessed. Yeah, this is the end of it. Bye.